Good morning, friends. So, in the previous class, we started a discussion on DPSP, that is Directive Principles of State Policy. So, the last class we have discussed till Article 40, that is, I have discussed Article 39 as well as Article 40 of Indian Constitution, right. So, these are the few articles, two articles that I have discussed in the previous class. Let me go ahead, all right, with the other important provisions of article, another important provisions of DPSP, all right. So, most importantly it is, right, Article 43 of Indian Constitution. Phone this kara. Most importantly it is Article 43 of Indian Constitution. So, Article 43, Article 44, right. So, you need to remember, you should remember these articles, right. Article 43, Article 44, Article 45 of the Constitution, Article 46 of the Constitution, all right. So, these are important articles. These are important articles. Article 50, Article 51. All right. So, any candidate who is appearing for a UPSC exam, you should remember these articles. So, they are important. So, just be online. So, remember Article 40, 43, 44, 45, 46, 50, 47, 51. So, these are the important provisions. These are important provisions of DPSP. So, please try to remember these provisions, all right. So, if you take this Article 43, if you take Article 43 of Indian Constitution. So, Article 43 of Indian Constitution, right, it clearly empowers, it clearly imposes a duty on the state to secure living wages and living conditions. At the same time, Article 43A, it promotes participation of workers in the management of industries, right. That means it has two things. One is Article 43, it promotes living wages and better working conditions. So, in the previous class I was talking about equal wage for equal work. That means this wage based employment is a part and parcel of, all right, Article 21. The reason for the reason behind the importance of this article is, it is this article which again promotes, right, dignity. It promotes dignity of individuals. It promotes human dignity, right. So, right to life and right to live with dignity. So this right to dignity comes with providing of living wages. The same time participation of workers. At the same time, it is participation of workers in the management of industry. So Article 43A, right, which was added by 42nd Amendment Act, right. So this is what the importance of Article 43. Coming to Article 44 of Constitution. Coming to Article 44 of the Constitution, right, it is this article which has drawn a long debate in India. If you take this Article 44, Article 44 deals with Uniform Civil Code. Article 44 deals with Uniform Civil Code. Recently we have seen a big debate, right, in the implementation of Uniform Civil Code in the state of, recently in which state this Uniform Civil Code was implemented, and what is the controversy around this? Right, it is in the state of Uttarakhand. It is in the state of Uttarakhand. Uttarakhand government has implemented Uniform Civil Code. So remember, normally we see in newspapers, particularly newspapers, there is, right, a word that is used that is called as Common Civil Code. Common Civil Code, right. So this is normally used. So, right, I have seen many a times in newspapers and in some of the articles, right, there is a use of the word Common Civil Code. But remember, Article 44 promotes Uniform Civil Code but not Common Civil Code. There is a difference between a Uniform Civil Code and Common Civil Code, right. So always remember, our Constitution aimed at promoting uniformity. It is, uniformity means what? Having a kind of similarity, right. Uniformity, that means similarity. Uniformity denotes similarity, right. So common, it means same. So there is a difference between similarity and same, right. So when we talk about uniformity, there can be a kind of differences, there can be a kind of minor differences, right. Whereas same means without any difference. Same denotes without any difference, right. Similarity denotes allowing of some kind of differences. Similarity denotes allowing some kind of differences, right. So our constitution through Article 44, it promotes Uniform Civil Code. It promotes Uniform Civil Code, or it promotes uniformity in civil in the laws, right. So what is this civil code? Normally code means, so remember, code means a set of laws. Code means it is a set of laws, right. So set of civil laws, alright. Set of a set of laws which are applied on individuals, alright. Because if you take Indian society is known for diversity, existence of multiple religions, existence of multiple faiths. And remember, every individual in Indian society, they are governed by their own personal laws, right. So individuals in Indian society are governed by their own personal laws, right. That means existence of separate laws for Hindus, right. We have it, we call it as Hindu code, right. Hindu Civil Code, Hindu Succession Act, right. So Hindu code, and we have separate laws for Muslims. We call them as Muslim personal laws. So similarly for Christian 6, that means in India we have these personal laws. So every individual is bounded by their own personal laws. You take marriage laws, you take inheritance, you take inheritance to property, diverse laws. Alright. So every individual, the personal life of individual is alright guided by these personal laws. And if you take these personal laws, there are differences among these personal laws. In India, we see a difference among these personal laws. You take marriage laws, you take divorce laws, alright, divorce. You take the inheritance, that is succession laws. There are differences in these laws among different religions. Though we are citizens of same nation, though we are citizens of India, though we are subjected to same constitution, but what is seen is we see a change, we see a difference in these personal laws, right? So because of this difference in personal laws, we also see a difference in the treatment of individuals. That means simply to say, these personal laws are responsible for inequalities. Alright? These personal laws are responsible for inequalities. The reason for inequality among the citizens of India between different religions, it is because of these personal laws. So this is the most important element. Alright. So when we all are citizens of India, then we should have same kind of laws. There should be a similarity. In laws. Alright. So I will take one simple example, because there was a debate in the news about regarding this Succession Act. We have Indian Succession Act. This is one thing, a law that is applicable to all the religions equally. Sorry, not all religions, it is applicable to all the individuals. I am really sorry. So this Indian Succession Act, So this Indian Succession Act is applicable to all the citizens, right, irrespective of the religion. So this is one thing. At the same time, we have Hindu Succession Act. At the same time, we have Shariat laws. Shariat laws that governs what you call the succession of property. Alright, that governs the inheritance of the property by the legal heirs. But if you take this Hindu Succession Act and Shariat laws, there are difference. So there are certain conditions imposed in Shariat laws to have succession, to have inheritance. So now if you take an individual, if you take a citizen, alright, if you take this citizen, alright, citizen can be subjected to both Hindu Succession Act or Indian Succession Act, or a citizen can be subjected to what you call the Shariat laws governing the succession or the Indian Succession Act. Alright, that means I'm giving simple example. To acquire the property, to acquire ancestral property, on what basis this ancestral property is acquired? So if you are a Hindu, right, Hindu code is applied. If you are a Muslim, Muslim code is applied. But there are differences. There are differences in these two codes. The right which is given, there are the rights which are given in Hindu code is different from the rights which are given in Muslim code. That is in Shariat laws. That means what? There are differences. There are differences. The women in the women according to Hindu code, they have the right to succeed. They have the right to inherit the property. Whereas in Muslim, in this Shariat laws, there are certain conditions for a woman to acquire the property. There are certain conditions, there are certain clauses to acquire or to inherit the property. As long as a woman is in as long as the woman believes in Islam, she follows Quran or she follows the Shariat laws, right? The woman will be given a right, the woman will be given the property only according to Shariat laws, but not this Indian Succession Act. Indian Succession Act will not be applied there. So it is purely the Hindu code and the Shariat laws. Now imagine a condition. If Indian Succession Act is applied, if an individual, if a citizen follows this Indian Succession Acts, then what will happen? Whether you are Hindu or a Muslim or Christian, whatever it may be, the same right is available. The same right is available. So this is a best example of a common code, or it is a common code. So it is a common code. But if the differences are removed between Hindu code and Shariat laws, obviously it will lead to uniformity. It will lead to uniformity. So this is an example of common code, and it is an example of uniformity or uniform civil code. Right? So every individual in Indian society, they are subjected to these kind of personal laws, and there are differences in the personal laws. Because of these differences, right? Because of these differences, there is a difference in the treatment of individual. There is a difference in what we call there is an inequality among the citizens. So to remove these inequalities, to remove these differences, what is required is a uniform civil code. So Article 44 of the Constitution, right, imposes a duty on the state to implement uniform civil code. But right from 1949 onwards, that is even in Constituent Assembly, even in Parliament, B.R. Ambedkar clearly said that uniform civil code should be introduced gradually. Right? So there should be, in the words of B.R. Ambedkar, there should be a gradual introduction. There should be a gradual introduction of uniform civil code. That means it should not be introduced all of a sudden. And same thing was said by Supreme Court in S.R. Bommai case also. Even in S.R. Bommai case, Supreme Court held that, alright, uniform civil code should be introduced, right, in a phased manner or in a gradual manner. That means it should not be introduced all of a sudden. So now don't you think that after 75 years, right? So now don't you think that there is it is a right time for introducing uniform civil code? Right? Don't you think that it is a right time to introduce uniform civil code in India? So it is almost all 75 years which have, right, we have completed. Right? It is almost all 75 years of India's independence. Right? Commencement of Constitution. So now we should think about, right? Now we should think about implementing this uniform civil code. Alright. So here the point is, it is not about violating the rights of individuals. It is not about violating the right to privacy of individual. It is not about violating the right to freedoms of individual. It is not about violating Article 25 of the Constitution. It is about promoting equality. So we are not asking for abolishing these rights. We are not recommending abolition of right to religious freedom or right to freedom to follow their own faith. It is only thing that, right, we are prescribing to remove the differences among the personal laws. When these differences are removed in personal laws, definitely there will be equality of treatment. Right, in the recent past we have seen a judgment on triple talaq. Right, so right, that is talaq-e biddat. Talaq-e biddat was abolished. Supreme Court clearly gave the judgment. So a long pending judgment, the case of Shah Bano, right, Shah Bano case. So Supreme Court in 2017 in Shah Bano case has given a landmark judgment of abolishing triple talaq or talaq-e biddat, which is a violative. So this is a step. So this is a step towards implementing Uniform Civil Code. This is a step towards implementation of Uniform Civil Code. Alright. So because there should not be differences, because as long as there are differences in the personal laws, it will lead to unequal treatment of individuals. Right? It will lead to gender discrimination. Women of one community are given importance, or women of one community enjoy all the rights when compared to women of other community. Right? So it will lead to gender discrimination. It will lead to inequalities. To remove these inequalities, right, Uniform Civil Code should be implemented. Right? So there should be a gradual implementation. So without violating the personal sentiments of individuals, without violating the the freedoms and rights which are guaranteed in the Constitution, particularly in Part 3, this Uniform Civil Code should be implemented. Alright? In Christian Banquet case, it dates back to 1927, Christian Banquet case. Even in this case, right, the Supreme Court has upheld, right, the Supreme Court, the British India Supreme Court, the British India Supreme Court has upheld in Christian Banquet case, right, a case that came during British India, where, right, the British India government has brought the importance of having a uniformity, a uniform civil code. So Uniform Civil Code is not new in India. So it was a point of discussion even before independence. So right from 1920s, right, there was a debate on this, and even British India government has gave this opinion of having Uniform Civil Code. So it was, and same thing was supported by Supreme Court in Christian Banquet case. Right? So that means Article 44 of Indian Constitution, Article 44 of Indian Constitution imposed a duty to implement Uniform Civil Code. Right? A Uniform Civil Code which is meant to remove the differences among the personal laws, and mainly it is this Uniform Civil Code which brings uniformity of all the citizens. It promotes uniformity among all the citizens. That is, all the citizens will be treated similarly. There won't be any discrimination, there won't be any difference. Alright? So this is the point. Alright? So Article 44. So Article 44 states that it is the duty of the state to promote Uniform Civil Code. Right? And always make a difference. Uniform Civil Code is different from Common Civil Code. Always make a difference that there is a difference between Uniform Civil Code and Common Civil Code. Okay? So this is what about Article 44 of Indian Constitution. Right? So this deals with Article 44 of Indian Constitution. Alright. So next we move on to another important provision, that is Article 45 of Indian Constitution. If you take Article 45 of Indian Constitution, if you take Article 45 of the Constitution, So this Article 45 of Indian Constitution, it promotes, it imposes a duty on the state. It imposes a duty on the state to provide free and compulsory education, right, for all the children below the age of 14 years. Free and compulsory education. Alright, free and compulsory education. Originally, remember, originally for all the children below the age of 14 years. Right? So it is a duty. It is a duty of the state. It is a duty of the state to provide this free and compulsory education for all the children below the age of 0 to 14 years. But now it is changed. Right? So today we have right to education. Right to education. Right, which is a part of Article 21 of the Constitution. Article 21 of the Constitution, Article 21 of the Constitution deals with a right to education. It deals with right to education. Okay. Right, where under Article 21, it is compulsory education for all the children below between 6 to 14 years. So, right, the age group that is covered in Article 21 is, it is 6 to 14 years, right, whereas in Article 45, it is 0 to 6 years, right. So, free and compulsory education, that means it is around, so normally it is 3 to 6 years. Right, so all the children below the age of 6 years, all the children below the age of 6 years, they are given a free and compulsory education. So it is the duty of the state. It is the duty of the state to provide free and compulsory education to the children below the age of 6 years. Right, it is below the age of 6 years, and don't laugh, because don't think about the child of 0 years. It is below the age of 6 years, right? So, నాకు కూడా తెలుసు కాబట్టి నవ్వాల్సిన అవసరం లేదు. It is the children below the age of 6 years who are imparted this education, right? So, make this difference. So, Article 21 it is 6 to 14 years, whereas Article 45 it is 3 to 6 years. Alright, so this is what you call mentioned. This is the difference between Article 45 and what you call Article 21. And today we have Anganwadi system, ICDS. How many of you know about this ICDS? How many of you know about this ICDS? A scheme that was started in 1977, Integrated Child Development Scheme. It is an Integrated Child Development Scheme, ICDS. ICDS deals with Integrated Child Development Scheme. Okay. So, if you take this ICDS, the purpose is development of child between, that is the newborn childs to 6 years. So, providing of all the health care and what you call nutritional care. So, along with this, right, there is an Anganwadi system started, Anganwadi centers. So, what is the purpose of these Anganwadi centers? What is the purpose of Anganwadi centers? What is the purpose of Anganwadi centers? Have you ever seen Anganwadi centers? ఎప్పుడన్నా చూసిండ్లా? అంగన్వాడీ సెంటర్స్ ఎప్పుడన్నా చూసిండ్లా? ఎప్పుడు చూడలేదా? Right? Okay. If you take this Anganwadi centers, the purpose of this Anganwadi centers is to promote educational care. The purpose of Anganwadi centers is to promote educational care. Alright? Educational care to the children below the age of 6 years. Alright? Whether it is meant for educational care or it is meant for looting the government. Now I want you to respond, even the people who are in online. రైట్, యూ షుడ్ రెస్పాన్స్, ఆన్సర్స్ ఇవ్వండి, మాట్లాడండి. రైట్, కామ్గా ఉంటే సరిపోదు. మీరు కామ్గా ఉన్నారనుకో ఇట్లనే ఏ రెస్పాన్స్ చేయకుండా ఎప్పుడో చూసి ఆన్లైన్ బంద్ చేస్తాను. నాకు ఆన్లైన్లో రెస్పాన్స్ లేకపోతే ఇంకొక 1 వీక్ చూస్తా. రెస్పాన్సెస్ లేకపోతే మాత్రం క్లాసెస్ ఆపేస్తా. ఇట్ విల్ బి ఓన్లీ స్ట్రిక్ట్లీ ఆఫ్లైన్. మీ ఇష్టం. మరి ఆన్లైన్లో క్లాసెస్ కావాలి అనుకుంటే ఖచ్చితంగా కామెంట్స్ ఇవ్వండి, రెస్పాన్స్లు ఇవ్వండి. అది ఇంపార్టెంట్. దట్ ఈజ్ ఇంపార్టెంట్. రెస్పాన్సెస్ ఇవ్వకుండా మాత్రము ఆన్లైన్లో క్లాస్ మానేస్తా. స్ట్రిక్ట్లీ ఆఫ్లైన్. మీ ఇష్టం, చాయిస్ మీదే. రైట్, సో కాబట్టి మీరు రెస్పాన్సెస్ ఇవ్వండి. రైట్, నీ ఫోన్ తీసుకురా. నాకు ఆ రెస్పాన్సెస్ కనపడట్లేదు. ఇక్కడ పెట్టు, చూద్దాం. ఎవరైతే రెస్పాన్స్ ఇస్తేనే క్లాసు, లేకపోతే క్లాస్ లేదు. ఉత్తగా కూర్చుంటే కాదు. డూ యూ హ్యావ్ ద హ్యాబిట్ ఆఫ్ టాకింగ్? ద పీపుల్ హు ఆర్ ఇన్ ఆన్లైన్, డూ యూ హ్యావ్ ద హ్యాబిట్ ఆఫ్ టాకింగ్? If you really have the habit of talking, right, do start chat. నా క్లాస్ ఇంటరాక్టివ్గా లేకపోతే క్లాస్ చెప్పబుద్ధి కాదు. క్లాస్ ఎప్పుడు ఇంటరాక్టివ్గా ఉండాలి నాకు. రైట్, ఏదో నేను మిషన్కి చెప్పినట్టు చెప్పొద్దు. అందుకనే ఆన్లైన్ క్లాస్ నాకు ఎందుకు ఇష్టం ఉండదంటే, గోడలకు చెప్పడము, మైకులకు చెప్పడము, లేకపోతే కెమెరాలకు చెప్పినట్టు అనిపిస్తుంది. రైట్, సో at least when you talk to me, when you respond to me, I'll feel happy, I'll get the interest. Okay, encouragement. అరే ఇంతమంది పిల్లలు ఉన్నారు అనుకుంటా. రైట్, ఓకే. సో కమింగ్ టు ఆర్టికల్, అంగన్వాడీ సెంటర్స్. ఫర్ వాట్ వీ హ్యావ్ అంగన్వాడీ సెంటర్స్? అంగన్వాడీ సెంటర్స్ ఎందుకు ఉన్నాయి? If you take these Anganwadi centers, right, the children are given education, at the same time nutritional care. The purpose of Anganwadi centers, the purpose of Anganwadi centers is to promote both educational and nutritional care. Educational and nutritional care. Right? అంతేనా, ఇంకా వేరేదేమైనా ఉందా? నిజం చెప్పాలంటే, if you take these Anganwadi centers, the people who are working in Anganwadi centers, అంటే అంగన్వాడీ సెంటర్స్లో వర్క్ చేసే వాళ్ళు, రైట్, దే ఆర్ బీయింగ్ గివెన్ ఎవ్రీథింగ్. వాళ్ళకి నెలకు అన్ని రకాల రేషన్స్ వస్తాయి. ఆయిల్ ప్యాకెట్స్ వస్తాయి, గుడ్లు వస్తాయి, ఉప్పులు, పప్పులు, అన్నీ వస్తాయి. రైట్, వెదర్ ఆల్ దీస్ థింగ్స్ ఆర్ రియల్లీ యూజ్ ఫర్ ద చిల్డ్రన్ ఆర్ ఈజ్ దెర్ ఎనీ స్కామ్ దేర్? గవర్నమెంట్ ఇచ్చిన ప్రతి వస్తువుని పిల్లల కోసమే వాడతారా, లేకపోతే అలా స్కామ్ ఉంటుందా? మీరే చెప్పండి, కామెంట్లో చెప్పండి. మీరు ఆన్సర్ ఇచ్చేంతవరకు నేను క్లాస్ చెప్పా, ప్రసక్తే లేదు. ఆన్లైన్లో నాకు కామెంట్ రానంతవరకు నేను క్లాస్ చెప్పాను. సో డోంట్ మేక్ మీ అ మిషన్. స్కామ్స్ ఏమి ఉండవా? ఇఫ్ యూ ఆస్క్ మీ, ఖచ్చితంగా స్కామ్లు ఉంటాయి అన్నలా. గవర్నమెంట్ సంవత్సరానికి 10 ఆయిల్ ప్యాకెట్లు ఇస్తే 2 ఆయిల్ ప్యాకెట్లు ఇంట్లోకి, రైట్, 8 ప్యాకెట్లు పిల్లలకి, సగం గుడ్లు ఇంటికి, ఎగ్స్ సగం ఎగ్స్ ఇంటికి, రైట్, సగం ఎగ్స్ పిల్లలకు, ఉప్పులు పప్పులు సగం ఇంటికి, సగం అంగన్వాడీ సెంటర్లో. సో నిజంగానే వెదర్ ఇవి అన్నీ ఇంట్ల కోసం వాడుకుంటారా? వాడుకోరు. దేనికోసం వాడుకుంటారు? అన్నీ తీసుకొని మళ్ళీ షాప్లో అమ్ముకోవడం, బ్లాక్ మార్కెటింగ్, రిటైల్ షాప్లో అమ్మేసుకోవడం, ఇవే కదా జరిగేది. దిస్ ఈజ్ వాట్ ప్రాక్టికల్లీ వి సీ. I have seen this practically in my life. The ration that is given to Anganwadi centers, it is being resold in the retail markets. Alright, that is how people make money. Alright, that is how people make money. రేపు మీరు ఐఏఎస్ ఆఫీసర్ లేనికి ఇలాంటి చిన్న చిన్న గుర్తుపెట్టుకోండి. Even in interviews will be asked these kind of questions. What will you do? రైట్. ఎప్పుడైనా యూపీఎస్సీలో ఒకటి బాగా గుర్తుపెట్టుకోవాల్సిన పాయింట్ ఏంటిదంటే, మనకంటూ ఒక ఒపీనియన్ ఉండాలి. ఆ పర్సనల్ ఒపీనియన్స్ బిల్డప్ చేసుకోవాలి. పర్సనల్ ఒపీనియన్స్ ఎలా బిల్డ్ చేసుకోవాలి అంటే, బై సీయింగ్ ద ప్రాక్టికల్ థింగ్స్, బై విజువలైజింగ్, బై ఇమాజినింగ్ దెమ్, రైట్, బై మేకింగ్ యువర్ ఓన్ సొల్యూషన్స్. ఇప్పుడు ఇది ఒక ప్రాబ్లం ఉంది, అంగన్వాడీ సెంటర్స్లో ఇలాంటి స్కామ్స్ జరుగుతున్నాయి. సో టుమారో వెన్ యూ బికమ్ అన్ ఆఫీసర్, వాట్ విల్ యూ డూ? యూ విల్ బీ ఆస్క్డ్ అబౌట్ ది సొల్యూషన్. మీరు ఒక ప్రాబ్లం చెప్పినప్పుడు ఆ ప్రాబ్లం సొల్యూషన్ ఏంటిది? ఆ కమిటీ అది చెప్పింది, సుప్రీంకోర్టు ఇది చెప్పింది, ఈ గవర్నమెంట్ ఇది చేసింది కాదు, మీరేం చేస్తారో చెప్పండి. రేపు యూపీఎస్సీలో కావాల్సింది ఇలాంటి మైండ్ సెట్టే. యూపీఎస్సీకి కావాల్సింది ఇదే. రైట్. సో స్కామ్స్ ఉంటేనే అందరూ ఒప్పుకున్నారు. గుడ్. నాతో ఇట్లా మీరు మాట్లాడింది అనుకోండి, ఐ రియల్లీ ఫీల్ హ్యాపీ అండ్ ద క్లాస్ విల్ బి మోర్ ఇంట్రెస్టింగ్. అసలు నా క్యారెక్టర్ ఇంత సీరియస్గా క్లాస్ చెప్పే క్యారెక్టర్ కాదు నాది. ఐ కీప్ ఆన్ మేకింగ్ ద పీపుల్ టు లాఫ్. దట్ ఈస్ వాట్ మై ఒరిజినల్ క్యారెక్టర్ ఈస్. బికాజ్ ఐ ఎంజాయ్ దట్ లాఫింగ్ ఫేసెస్. రైట్. నవ్వుతూ క్లాస్ చెప్పిస్తానేమో. రైట్. సో గుడ్. రైట్. సో if you take this article 45, so article 45 provides free and compulsory education for all the children below the age of 6 years, and the step that is the measure that is taken, the initiative that is taken by government of India is, it is introduction of this ICDS, and we have Anganwadi centers, right? And remember inkoka point undi, article 47, right? Article 47 states that it is the duty of the state to promote nutritional care of children, right? So article 45, it is about free and compulsory education, and article 47 is about providing of, it is a duty of the state to promote living standards and provide nutritional care. Article 47, promoting duty of the state to promote living standards of individuals and promote what you call the promoting health care, nutritional care. There are two elements, one is living standards and the other one is nutritional care. Living standards and promoting nutritional care. Alright. So that is improving of public health. Alright. So this is article 47. So when we read article 45 and article 47, one is educational care and the other one is nutritional care. One is promoting education and the other one is promoting public health. Alright. So we have different, right? We have national rural health mission, national urban health mission, national health mission. Alright. Now what you call the Modi government in its national health policy of 2017, alright, national health policy of 2017. So all these, we have national millets mission, national nutrition mission, national food security mission. చెప్పుకోవడానికి శాంతాడంత ఉన్నాయి మన దగ్గర ప్రోగ్రాంలు. రైట్. 1975 నుంచి మొదలు పెడితే 1973 నుంచి మొదలు పెడితే ఇప్పటి వరకు ప్రతి 5 ఇయర్ ప్లాన్లో మనకు కొత్త ప్రోగ్రామ్స్ వచ్చినాయి. రైట్. సో చాలా ప్రోగ్రామ్స్ వచ్చినాయి. ఫస్ట్ ఇందిరాగాంధీ 1973లో షీ స్టార్టెడ్ అ ప్రోగ్రామ్ కాల్డ్ యాజ్ 20-point program. యాజ్ అ పార్ట్ ఆఫ్ 5th 5 year plan, she launched 20-point program. అందులో the 20-point program is mainly aimed at alleviating poverty. ఇంతకుముందు చెప్పిన మీకు గరీబీ హటావో, వెరీ పాపులర్ స్లోగన్ ఆఫ్ Indira Gandhi. Garibi Hatao is a very popular slogan of Indira Gandhi. Right? As a part of this Garibi Hatao slogan, she brought all this food for work program gaani vande lepothe ICDS ka ante ivanni they are a part of this. Appadi nunchi modalu pedthe ippadi variki. Right? National Health Policy of 2017. All right. So what is this policy called as? Very popular program in India. So I want you to give the answers. So what is the name of this program? right, which was launched in 2017 by Narendra Modi government. All right. So what is this program called as? All right. So government of India, the Modi government is known for many schemes. All right. Can you name some what you call landmark schemes or flagship schemes brought by the recent government? Landmark schemes are the flagship programs launched by Modi government. Make in India, made in India, inka? So we have National Nutrition Mission, National Food Security Mission, right, and National Millets Mission, right. So the purpose of all these missions is to promote what you call health care of the children, right. So if you take Article 47, right, it is implemented in the form of midday meal scheme, right. If you take midday meals, what is the purpose of midday meals? It is not providing glass palu and one guddu. It is providing of what? Right? It is providing of nutritious food to the school going children. The purpose of midday meal scheme. The purpose of midday meal scheme is to promote, right, a nutritional care to the school going children. And the first state to start this, what do you call, a midday meal scheme is. So I want you to give the answers. The one who are in the class, please do give the answers. Right? Matladandi, respond kandi. Alright? So what is the first state in India to start midday meal scheme? Alright? So both Article 45 and Article 47 of Indian Constitution, both Article 45 and Article 47 of Indian Constitution, they are implemented. Right, they are implemented in providing both educational and nutritional care. Right. So this is one thing. And coming to Article 46, another important provision of DPSP is Article 46. So it is the duty of the state to take care of economic and educational interest of weaker sections of society. So Article 46 of Indian Constitution, Article 46 of Indian Constitution. Good. I am seeing the names of Neelaveni, ఏమో పేరు ఏదో ఉన్నది, ఎంఆర్ ఫ్లిప్ తెలుగు అంట, నాకు తెలియదు ఆ పేరేందో. అరే కొంచెం ఒరిజినల్ పేర్లు పెట్టుకోండి, అది ఏదో మన దాన్ని ఏంటిది, సో దట్ ఐ కెన్ యూజ్ యువర్ నేమ్. రైట్. సో తమిళనాడు is the right answer. Good. Very good. Tamil Nadu is the first state in India to implement. Tamil Nadu is the first state in India to implement what you call this midday meal scheme, and it has become a role model for other schemes. Even if you take Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan, in the previous class I was talking about Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan. Even in Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan, right, this midday meal scheme is implemented. Right. Right. And coming to 46, Article 46. Right, if you take this Article 46 imposes a duty on the state to take care of educational and economic interest of weaker sections of society, that is scheduled caste and scheduled tribes. Educational and economic interest of weaker sections of society. That means state has a duty, state has a moral duty of protecting, right, educational and economic interest of weaker sections of society. It has a moral duty of protecting educational and economic interest of weaker sections of society. That is why reservations are being implemented. Alright. So when we talk about reservations, alright, in which article special provisions are made for women and children and scheduled castes and scheduled tribes? I want you to give the answers. In which article special provisions are made for scheduled caste and scheduled tribes, women and children? We have completed this topic in the previous class. In the previously we have discussed all these things. So start giving your answers. Please do give your answers. Alright. So, and this has been implemented, right? This has been implemented. That is, educational and economic interest of weaker sections of society are taken into consideration by way of providing reservations. By way of providing reservations, and it is in Article 15 of the Constitution. It is in Article 15 of the Constitution. Article 15, Article 16. It is both Article 15 and Article 16 of the Constitution, which provides special provisions, for, alright, scheduled caste and scheduled tribes, that is providing of reservations. So do try to recollect everything. Do try to recollect what you call the previous classes. So when we are discussing something, go back, see what we have read, what we have learned in the previous class. ఇంతకుముందు ఏం చదువుకున్నామో అన్నీ గుర్తు తెచ్చుకోండి. రైట్, ప్రతిదీ మన ఫింగర్ టిప్స్ మీద ఉండాలి. రైట్, ఇన్ కేస్ ఇఫ్ నాట్, it will be very difficult for you. It will be very difficult for you to what you call crack the exam. Right, so continuous revisions and writing of answers. Right, so this is about Article 46. Right, so 46 about educational and economic interest of the weaker sections of society. So let me rewind of what we have discussed, because we are going with each and every article. So we start with Article 40, that is the duty of the state to organize village panchayats. Then we have talked about Article 43 that promotes, right, living wages and healthy conditions for the workers, as well as the same article also promotes participation of workers in the what you call management of industries. Then we have talked about Article 44, which deals with uniform civil code. Then we have talked about Article 45, which deals with educational interest, that is free and compulsory education for all the children below the age of 6 years now. Then we have talked about Article 46, right, which imposes a duty on the state to take, ఒకటే కాపీ ఇచ్చింది. Right, which imposes a duty on the state, right, okay, to protect the economic and educational interest of weaker sections of society. Then coming to Article 47. So if you take this Article 47 is about, right, protecting the nutritional care, promoting nutritional care and promote public health. Right, so these are the articles that we have discussed till now. Right, coming to another important article. So remember, I am discussing only the important provisions of DPSP. Right, so separation of judiciary, right, from executive. Article 50 of the Constitution deals with separation of judiciary. It deals with separation of judiciary from executive. It deals with separation of judiciary from executive. Right? So remember, before commencement of constitution, all right, executive and judiciary, they are within the same institution. That is, there is no clear separation. So before commencement of constitution, there is no separation, of judiciary from executive. Alright, remember. Alright, say for example, if you take a collector, alright, the institution of collector, alright, the institution of collector. Now when we see this name of collector, it is clearly named as the office of district collector and magistrate. మీరు ఒకసారి డిస్ట్రిక్ట్ కలెక్టర్ ఆఫీస్ చూస్తే ఆ నేమ్ బోర్డ్ చూస్తే విల్ కమ్ టు నో అక్కడ ఏమని రాసి ఉంటుంది, ఇట్ ఈస్ ది ఆఫీస్ ఆఫ్ డిస్ట్రిక్ట్ కలెక్టర్ అండ్ మ్యాజిస్ట్రేట్. గుర్తుపెట్టుకోండి, హీ ఈజ్ నాట్ ఓన్లీ అ కలెక్టర్ బట్ ఆల్సో మ్యాజిస్ట్రేట్. So before commencement of constitution, collector is both judicial as well as executive magistrate. Right? So before independence or before commencement of constitution, collector is both judicial as well as executive magistrate. Collector is made responsible for both judicial and executive magistrate. That means he is judicial magistrate as well as executive magistrate. So both are included within the same institution. Right? So there is no clear separation. Right? There is no clear separation. But after commencement of constitution, there is a clear separation between judiciary from executive. So now after commencement of constitution, right, after the constitution, right, what district collector is called as? So district collector is simply called as executive magistrate. District collector is called as executive magistrate. District collector is called as executive magistrate. District collector is also called as executive magistrate, right? That means the judicial magistracy is separated. From executive magistracy, right? So collector is not responsible for judicial magistracy. Now in the present day system, right, collector is not responsible for judicial magistracy. He is responsible only for executive magistracy. Then who is a person or who is responsible for judicial magistracy? Who acts as judicial magistrate? Please give me the answers. Right, I am waiting for your response. I am waiting for your comments. Who acts as judicial magistrate? ఇంతకు ముందు అంటే కాన్స్టిట్యూషన్ రాకముందు కలెక్టరే రెండిటికి రెస్పాన్సిబుల్, అంటే కలెక్టరే ఎగ్జిక్యూటివ్ మ్యాజిస్ట్రేట్ అండ్ జ్యుడిషియల్ మ్యాజిస్ట్రేట్. మరి కాన్స్టిట్యూషన్ వచ్చిన తర్వాత, రైట్, ఫర్ వాట్ ది కలెక్టర్ ఈజ్ రెస్పాన్సిబుల్? ఇట్ ఈస్ ఫర్ ఎగ్జిక్యూటివ్ మ్యాజిస్ట్రేట్. దెన్ వాట్ అబౌట్ జ్యుడిషియల్ మ్యాజిస్ట్రసీ? To who is responsible for judicial magistracy? It is, అయ్యో ఒక్కరు కూడా ఆన్సర్ చెప్పలేదా? అచ్చా, అందరు మౌనవ్రతమేమో, అంతే కదా? మౌనవ్రతం. మాట్లాడితే తప్పు, మాట్లాడకూడదు. రైట్ టు సైలెన్స్ ఇస్ అ పార్ట్ ఆఫ్ ఆర్టికల్ 19. రైట్ టు సైలెన్స్ ఇస్ అ పార్ట్ ఆఫ్ ఆర్టికల్ 19. ఐ థింక్ యూ ఆర్ ఫాలోయింగ్ దిస్ ప్రిన్సిపల్. CJI కాదు, ఇట్ ఈస్ నాట్ CJI. చీఫ్ జస్టిస్ ఆఫ్ ఇండియా కాదు. It is district judge. It is district judge who is regarded as, alright, who is regarded as judicial magistrate. So, the office of district collector is called as collector and executive magistrate, and the office of district judge is called as the office of district judge and judicial magistrate. So, when you see the court complex in a district, you will right, you will see these boards, right? It is district judge. It is district judge who acts as judicial magistrate. గుర్తుపెట్టుకోండి, collector is executive magistrate and judge is district judge is judicial magistrate. So article 50 of Indian constitution, article 50 of Indian constitution clearly separates, article 50 of Indian constitution, it clearly separates judiciary from executive. It clearly separates judiciary from executive. Am I clear? All right, so this is what the point is. This is what about article 50. All right, now coming to article 51 of Indian constitution, implementation of, it is implementation of international laws. All right, protection and implementation of international laws. So article 51 allows the union, article 51 allows, imposes a duty on the state to implement the international laws. All right, and it has been done. So a duty is imposed, on the state, a duty is imposed on the state to implement international laws. All right, say for example, today we talk about Ramsar Convention. Today we talk about Ramsar Convention. Ramsar Convention. So what is the purpose of this Ramsar Convention? What is the purpose of Ramsar Convention? If you take this Ramsar Convention, what is the purpose of Ramsar Convention? All right, so the purpose of that is, international peace and security, right? I was thinking, all right, promoting, it is promotion of international peace and security. Because I was thinking about, all right, the yesterday's question of climate change, all right, because of that the mistake has happened. నిన్న మీకు కొన్ని క్వశ్చన్స్ పోజ్ చేసిన, అంటే I was discussing some of the current affairs questions. So there was a question on climate change. So my mind was on that climate change question. All right. So I regret myself. It is Article 15 talks about promotion of international peace and security. So we have this responsibility, right? We have this responsibility of Government of India to protect peace and security. All right. So we are always a responsible nation. All right. Responsible nation in protecting peace and security. All right. Now, as a part of this, what India has done to promote international peace and security? What is the important principle of India's nuclear doctrine? What are the principles of Indian foreign policy? So if you take Indian foreign policy, you take India's nuclear doctrine, right? So we always, even you take the foundation pillars of NAM. What is NAM? The foundation pillars of NAM. So what is NAM? Non-aligned movement, right? So you take NAM or you take Indian foreign policy, it is always, they are based upon the principle of peaceful coexistence. This is the word that we should remember. It is peaceful coexistence. So peaceful coexistence is one of the guiding principles of Indian foreign policy. Right? Peaceful coexistence is guiding principle of Indian foreign policy, and it is an underlying policy of every what you call charter that India has signed. Say for example, alright, you take Bandung Conference, which later became NAM, and we have this Panchashil. Panchashil policy, Panchashil, right? The very first point of this Panchashil, it is peaceful coexistence. So Panchashil policy is based upon India and which country? If you take Panchashil policy, it is based upon India and it is a guiding policy between India and which country? India and China. It is India and China. Panchashil policy, that was a bedrock policy or a bedrock doctrine that was followed in determining India-China relations. So India-China relations are purely based upon this Panchashil, right? But however, there are changes made now because of the recent changes in the attitude of China. Even Indian government has changed. But if you take this Panchashil policy, the first element of this Panchashil is peaceful coexistence, respect for each other's sovereignty. So India always believed in this principle of peaceful coexistence and respect for each other's sovereignty. You take SAARC, you take NAM, right? You take any other international institution, right? So we always believed in this. We always believed in this peaceful coexistence. So Article 51 has imposed a duty on the state to protect international peace and security. And even every time, right, you take UN resolutions, India always favored a peaceful resolution of all the conflicts. You take the issue of Israel-Palestine, or you take the issue of Ukraine, and we have always stood by the stand. We always stood by the stand of what you call peaceful resolutions. India is regarded as one of the responsible nuclear power in the world. India is regarded as one of responsible nuclear power. That means what? That we are based on the principle of no first use. If you take India's nuclear doctrine, right, we are based upon the principle of no first use. Right? So this is what India's philosophy is. This is what India's policy is. Alright, so Article 51, it is clearly followed. We have seen different provisions of DPSP which are being implemented. Alright, so these are different important provisions of DPSP. Just read Lakshmikant and by heart all these provisions. And remember, it is for our convenience. These DPSPs are divided into three different categories. That is, they are called as socialistic principles, liberal principles, then Gandhian principles. These DPSP is divided into socialistic principles, liberal intellectual principles, and Gandhian principles. So just read Lakshmikant for all these provisions. Actually, I am not feeling well today. So I'll stop the class here for now, and I'll start the class tomorrow by 9 o'clock. By 9:30. From 9:30 to 11, it will be GS Polity class, and from 11 o'clock there will be an interaction on political science optional. That is, I'll discuss about the syllabus of political science as well as what you call the pros and cons of political science. So from 11 it will be a political science, and up to 11 it will be polity class. For now I'll stop the class here. So don't feel troubled, and I'm really sorry for early completion of the class.